Chapter 17 of Deliver Me from Eva by Paul Bailey. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Ben Tucker. Chapter 17. A sudden blinding glare of the ceiling lights brought me instantly and defensively awake. I heard footsteps and turned my cramped neck to see who was entering. A second later, Inza was at my side. Swiftly and silently, she unhooked my restraining straps and head clamp. Calmly and graciously, she extended an arm, and with painful exertion, I lifted myself to sitting posture and dangled my numb legs over the table's side. "Could I have some water?" I croakingly sighed, at the same time half expecting her to attempt my dismemberment in one of her fits. She turned and obediently walked to the atelier's washroom for my drink. I rubbed my prickling hands over my shaved scalp and mentally contrasted the maid's present docility with yesterday's screeching agitation. Then suddenly I stopped and again patted my razor-smoothed head in fearful wonder. No bandages were there. No incisions had been made. No gland transplants had been attempted. Dr. Craner's experiment somehow had ended in abortive failure. During my operative sleep, both he and Margot had abruptly disappeared, and Castleman had been murdered. Inza stepped to my side and politely offered me water from a paper cup. Eagerly I flung the cooling draught down my thirst-parched throat. "What happened?" I asked, pointing a trembling finger at Castleman's bloody corpse.
"Margot killed him," Inza replied with simple directness, "and I sawed his dirty head off."
"Margot killed him?" I asked incredulously. Casually, Inza touched up her yellow hair and adjusted her little starched serving cap. She had cleaned and tidied herself and looked unbelievably improved in comparison to the last time I had seen her.
"Margot loves me. She unlocked my prison door. You put me in there, but you couldn't help it because Castleman made you put me in there. We planned to get the doctor first, but Castleman saw the gun. He leaped at Margot."
Inza leaned confidentially.
"I borrowed the gun from the doctor's chamber."
Gingerly I lowered my aching limbs to the floor. With my right hand clutching the table for support, I looked around me at the room in all its gory hideousness. Inza hastened to fling the sweat-damp white blanket over my naked shoulders. "Thank you," I said.
"We like you, Margot and me."
"Then Margot's alive?" Inza nodded happily, and I felt relieved. "Where's the doctor now?" I asked it a little fearfully.
"He fled through the earth with the greatest of speed."
I watched uneasily while Inza howled and cackled at the feeble joke. "Inza, please," I finally begged.
"We plugged the south end of his mole hole," she gleefully answered, "and he'll never get back."
Suddenly Inza sobered and grabbed both my arms.
"Margot unlocked my room. He'll kill her for that."
I shuddered at the demented woman's touch, at the thoughts her confession engendered. I sighed my relief when she dropped her hands from me and blankly stared. "I don't see how Margot could have turned you loose," I said. "Last time I saw her, she was in surgery, gowned and gloved."
"She went from the scrub room, you fool. Before gowning, she slipped out and unlocked my door, and while they got you ready for a carving, I went to the kitchen for a cleaver. Then I did a little carving of my own. Castleman croaked like a rooster when I sunk the cleaver into his big red neck. But it was the doctor we wanted. All this happened after the legless wonder escaped."
"How, for Lord's sake? On his glider?"
"On his hands!"
And Inza went into another howl of mirth.
"You should have seen him go down his steeple like a chimpanzee. When Margot fired the shot, he went out of this room with his T-hander in the air."
"Wearing a surgical gown? I don't see how it could be possible."
"If it weren't possible," Inza laughed, "he'd be propped up with Castleman right now. Last I saw of him, he was holding up the front hem of his gown with his teeth. The back hung down like a dowager's train. Margot tore after him, but he got to the elevator first."
"But where did he go?"
"Come,"
Inza said.
"I'll show you."
End of chapter 17.